For entrepreneur, for you to really get to succeed, there are basic acts or things that makes up that space or who you call an entrepreneur. Entrepreneur is that guy who can endure. Entrepreneur is that guy who can take risk. Entrepreneur is that guy who don't play to what everyone says or what everyone would believe. Entrepreneur is the guy who disrupt.
Hi and welcome to another episode of the People Hum interview series. This is your host Zia at People Hum. People Hum is an end-to-end, one-view integrated human capital management automation platform, the winner of the 2019 Global Cody Award for Human Capital Management that's specifically built for crafted employee experiences and the future of work. We run the People Hum blog and channel that receives more than 400,000 visitors a year, and we also publish several interviews with well-known names globally every month.
We have with us today Coach Oscar, CEO of Billion House Consulting. Oscar is a transformational coach and speaker and mentor to emerging entrepreneurs. With vast experience in working with businesses and individuals, Oscar is a highly sought-after thought leader on entrepreneurship, emerging economies, and startups. He is consistently rated as a top speaker at conferences and major events. Coach Oscar's private mastermind helps tackle a variety of issues including sales, leadership, marketing, coaching, and more. He has also authored 3 books and describes himself as a high-energy, highly interactive speaker with powerful content that delivers. Coach Oscar, it's an absolute pleasure to have you speak with us today. Welcome to People Hum.
Thank you so much. A pleasure.
So, my first question for you is, please tell us something about Billion House Consulting and the super interesting work that you do there.
Thank you so much for having me here, and thank you for that amazing question. Billion House Consulting, it's a human capital development company. So basically what we do, it's about developing businesses, and we focus purely on consulting, and consulting in different phases. We do leadership consulting, and we also do consulting for businesses. And we have the tech part of us, we have the other part, so it's like 3-in-1 business. We deal with the human trainings, and then we also do with the tech part that has to do with software and all of that application part.
Wow, that sounds like a complete holistic approach with different areas that you cater to. So another aspect is that you're a well-known transformational coach and speaker. I emphasize the word transformational because it suggests a 180-degree turn, mostly towards a better state. How challenging would you term the process, and what are some of the nitty-gritties of transforming businesses and individuals?
Brilliant question. That's a brilliant one. You see, when it comes to transformation, and you see, I think we've said or we've known or heard this saying that the only theme that remains constant is change. Now, the word transformation has to do with something that is constantly on a phase to look at for how do you get better, how do you improve, which other way you can do exactly what you're doing right now. So this is what transformation revolves around. Yes, I also do understand dealing with companies, deal with individuals. We do have these issues like cultural change, behavior change, the mindset. Remember, when people are used to a way of doing things, it tends to relax and stay there. But just staying in one place deny you of possible opportunity that change could bring. And the only way to test the other side of how great or how good you could be is to accept change. I can tell you from experience, I've been in this business for the past 6-7 years. I've dealt with people, firstly, that first mindset of resisting change. Organization will tell you, no, this is how we've been doing it. There's the process we've been following. There's the pattern we've been doing it. Fine, good, right. But How about we try looking at things from another perspective? And that's where transformation does really comes in. And it's more of a disruptive way of doing things. Disrupt the way you've always do, and then try a new approach and a new system. Now, with transformation, I hear when you say it's a 180 turnaround, but sometimes you see it's not like it guarantees automatic result. Sometimes it could change and becomes, oh, not what we expected. But you have to look for another way to adjust and then see how you can do that thing differently. It's really been amazing. And yeah, thank you.
That is so true. And I think, the pandemic and everything that's happening around has really shown us how change really is constant. And it's so important to adapt to the different changes around you and to the different things that change. So, yeah, that's some very important things you pointed out there. And, the next question that I have for you is, how would you say businesses can escape the rat race and fulfill their dreams by having sufficient organizational goal clarity on their own terms?
Amazing question you asked there. You see, Sena, the thing here with how people can escape the rat race, I will tell you 66 or 80% of people in the workplace are just enduring the workplace. They're enduring what they do. They're not in love with what they do. And this is a cycle that our parents taught us, our grandparents taught our parents, great-great-parents keep teaching, and that is the space we found ourselves. So what that literally means is I'm from a home, my father was a teacher, and then, if you need to make money, you have to go to school, you have to read, you have to do all of that. And I could particularly remember one of my sisters who was very good in athletics. My dad stopped her. Well, today we look back, he apologized, but you can't remedy what she would have done because she's past her youthful age right now. So what led to this story? The thing is this, the rat race has been where we all trapped, and it's, again, a status quo, a pattern, a way, a culture people are so used to. You want to make money, go to school, pick up a course, read, and then you graduate, and then go look for a job. And that's all we've been taught all of our years. And we keep repeating it, some of us teaching our kids, but not forgetting the question, are you really enjoying that job? I'm not saying don't go to school, but for where I am as a coach right now, maybe school you need is just to be able to read and understand and hear people and then go fulfill your passion. Maybe that's all you need. Because if you're a good soccer player, a good cricket player, rugby player, or whatever it is you can do, you can actually take it to the next level and even monetize that skills and be fulfilled. And then that's the ultimate why this rat race need to be discouraged. But how do you get out of it? I've profiled some solutions in some of my trainings where I teach people things like the status quo strategies. The status quo strategies is simply, if you don't like the job or you don't like that business, check another business. Maybe go try another place of work. Maybe you find where you like. Or the other one I call the passive income strategy to probably exit the rat race. Just find something you can be doing on the side hustle, something that resonates with you, but you keep your regular job and then do something else. And I also talked about the passion income strategy. Now, what is that? The passion income strategy is, what is it you want to do? Now, let me just share a little about my story. I got fired from a job some 6-7 years ago, and then I sat back. I asked myself, what can I do with my life? And while I was doing this introspection, I knew I was in a space, a professional corporate job that I really loved. I never saw me being asked to leave, I never saw it coming. So I didn't really think. But in between the process, I wrote my book in my varsity days, my first year in the varsity, wrote my second book while I was in the paid employed, wrote my third book. So these books have been giving me opportunity to get called to come speak, come train, come look at our organization. What will you advise us to do? So I used to have this on the side. once the job was gone, I started asking myself, but I've seen people speak and get paid. I've seen people do consulting and they get paid. Remember, I was doing this just because I love consulting, helping people, training. I was never really asking for how much to be paid. So now I sat back and I'm saying, I see people do this and they get paid. How are they doing it? So I started learning the art or the business of coaching, the business of consulting, the business of speaking, the business of writing. Now, it's not everyone who writes gets to make money from writing, but there are those who actually write and they profit from it. The same thing is applicable in speaking. Not everyone who speaks get paid. There are those who speaks and get paid. So the thing is this, for every business, just like this wonderful platform you've created, maybe not everyone who does this actually know the business of monetizing what you do. But I could say to you that there are people who have learned the business of monetizing what you're doing right now and are actually profiting from it. So that was what I did with my life. And once I learned how to monetize my skills that I've identified, I then started out to see how I can practice this and take the actions into how I can fulfill this dream. Now, what businesses can actually do is to avoid the rat race. I think there has to be some culture shift. Most organizations like Apple and Coca-Cola and all of those old companies we see, they are being innovative today because they have relaxed some culture in the workplace by encouraging people to think out of the box, encouraging people to come up with innovative ideas to move forward. That is applicable for just anyone. Organizations need to set that clear goals in terms of how for most coaches or most organization or individual is don't hire people that you are smarter than. Get people smarter than you. Now, when you have a team of people who are smarter than you, now it is not about what you want them to do, it's about what is it we can do to move this organization to the next level. Like, what are you doing right now? Great, amazing. I checked up your profile. You hosted a lot of high-profile individuals that I'm like, woo, how did you get Whitney? How did you get these guys on your platform? But amazing, fantastic job you're doing. Now, the next thing is this, to scale to the next level, you definitely need to get smarter people, people who are more thoughtful, more innovative, to help you take this dream to the next level. And that is very crucial for individuals and organizations that really want to scale and go to the next level. I hope I answered that question.
Absolutely. I think, you pointed out a lot of very, very, very important things. And just when you started off saying that, a lot of people just endure their jobs, it's so true. And it's so good to see that, a lot of people are now being encouraged to be in a space where they actually enjoy their jobs and they have that job satisfaction. It's no longer just about, making money. And I think learning to monetize your passion or being able to monetize things that you're good at is a skill in itself. And the more people develop that, definitely more people are going to be happier with what they do on a day-to-day basis.
100%. And you also see that part of the issues that most people have is that thing we call the comfort zone. And we don't like the job, but we just want to endure through. We don't like the job, but you think about the bills that needs to be paid at the end of the month. You don't like the job, and you wake up, if you are in places like South Africa where we have winter, very cold and all of that. You are in the rain, you are in the sun, going to that place you don't like. No, come on. At some point, you need to get to a place where you need to tell yourself, for how long will I need to keep enduring this? Or do I need a much better life? I think this is what most people really need to understand and come to that realization that it's first about your satisfaction, about you. If you are fulfilled, you'll be more productive, you'll be more profitable, not just to you and the organization, but to your family also. That's very crucial.
Absolutely. So, we spoke a lot about, monetizing your passion. And a lot of people today actually would love to be entrepreneurs and they just don't know how to go about that. So, if you could give three tips to, emerging entrepreneurs, what would they be?
You see, the journey of entrepreneurs is something, first of all, anyone can actually, you don't need any special schooling to be an entrepreneur. But I think what you might need is discipline to stay through. So in terms of entrepreneur, anyone who can find a way to make money can definitely be an entrepreneur. So in that, for instance, during the COVID, I don't know about your country. During the COVID, some people stumble into, we need mask, we need face mask, we need all of those protective gears. Do you know who can do that? Yes, I don't know someone who can do that. Okay, fine. We need 10,000 orders. Can you supply that? Yes. You can connect two people and make money, but you are not an entrepreneur. So it's just being smart in terms of how you think. I think this is what really set out an entrepreneur. Now, for entrepreneur, for you to really get to succeed, there are basic acts or things that makes up that space or who you call an entrepreneur. Entrepreneur is that guy who can endure. Entrepreneur is that guy who can take risk. Entrepreneur is that guy who don't play to what everyone says or what everyone would believe. Entrepreneur is the guy who disrupts. So what are my things that I recommend to most entrepreneurs? If you want to start out on your own, maybe you want to transition from your corporate into starting your own business. Excellent. But the first thing you need to do is formulate a plan. Formulate a plan of what you want. Maybe an exit strategy from your corporate, or maybe a plan of how to penetrate into the market that you want. And the truth is this, every market is saturated. So, but there is a way to show up and you stand out. Every market is saturated, but there's a way you show up and you stand out. When I checked your platform, I see what you guys do, and I love the concept that you're bringing. Now, everyone does podcasting, everyone does interviewing, but I think I see some unique stuff you bring here, that you interview people from all over the world, but not everyone does that. So you've decided to carve a niche on the international platforms, knowing fully well that when it comes to virtual or online, there is no boundaries. People can deal with you or do business with you from across the globe. So have a concrete plan of either entry or how you want to stand out. And then the second thing is get ready to take risk. Entrepreneur take risk. So it's not like all the steps you take is just going to turn out to be successful. No. Sometimes you take risks. Like when starting out my business, I hired an office as a speaker. I never had much gigs and I didn't know where much money was coming from. And now I hired a staff. How do I retain the staffs in the office? 1 month, 2 months, nothing was coming in. And at some point I had to close down the office. But if you ask me, did I not start? Yes, I did. Maybe I didn't calculate the steps very well. But at some point I had to shut down the office and was operating from home. After some time, I decided to launch back again. I've learned my lessons. I know what to do. At least I need to have some capital to get going. And I did that. And then I got back to business. So what I'm saying is entrepreneur take risk. Entrepreneur should be ready to jump even when you're not so sure. That makes you an entrepreneur. And let me just expatiate on that. As an entrepreneur, when you do what is not regular and what not everyone like doing, that is where you either kill it or crush the market, or that's where you can go really deep down and you are broke. Now, if you take a risk and jump when no one believes you will succeed, chances are you may succeed. And if you succeed, that's when everyone starts talking about you. You become the real person. You become the real deal. But if you don't succeed, everyone laughs at you. So entrepreneurs take risk. Get ready to accept everything everyone say. And another thing I want to say, point number 3 is entrepreneur or the journey of being an entrepreneur is a lonely path. Being a lonely path, I speak from experience. At some point, you go all out there, I get invited, speak on platforms, hundreds and thousands of people, and then you get back home and you are depressed. You have your own issue. Who do you run to? So point number 3 is every entrepreneur should have a coach. Every entrepreneur should have a mentor. You need someone that you need to share ideas with, someone who guides you and take you through the process. Because at some point, things might not turn out the way you want. Or even if they do, at some point, maybe you want to scale. But how do you scale if you don't know X, Y, Z in terms of scaling? So the fourth thing I also want to talk about is entrepreneurs should try and follow examples of successful entrepreneurs. What do I mean by that? My coach, JT Fox, and a few other coaches that I have said to me, a wise man learns from other people. A wise man, he said, a wise man will learn from the mistakes of others. You don't need to go and make mistakes like what I do when I talk to entrepreneurs. I speak to you and say to you, advise you in terms of what I felt is good and what could lead you and take you far. Now, I share also part of my mistakes. Like I just said to you, I started a business. The first 6 months, I went bankrupt and then closed the office. I asked the staff to go. But I didn't know what to do. If I had a mentor before then, I probably wouldn't have made that mistake. What a wise man does is, you don't need to wait to fail like I did. You need to learn from what I failed from and then try to see how you navigate that you don't fail in the same place. Point number 5, every entrepreneur should master the act of selling. Now you start a business, you should be able to communicate that idea. To me, what is most important is not necessarily the knowledge. It's about how you communicate what you have, the knowledge, the ideas, the product, communicating it. And that's why you see people spend money into advert. They spend money in marketing because people only buy from people they know, they like, and they trust. If no one knows you, no one is going to buy from you. So entrepreneurs need to learn the act to market, to sell, and put yourself out there. And I think the final thing I probably want to suggest or say is you have to be ready to take action at all times. Take action. And then build a team around you that can be very supportive and help you drive the vision. These are very important.
Thank you so much for that. I'm sure all the young entrepreneurs that watch this are going to really benefit from, the points that you mentioned. And it's very helpful for especially young people to be getting advice from people like yourself who are experienced, especially when, you share personal stories. It makes it so much more inspiring and relatable. So thank you for that. So the last thing that I wanted to ask is, if you have any passing remarks on what you think is the future of work.
With the future of work, I think last week, Wednesday, we held a program in terms of goal and looking at the direction 2021 forward. I think one of the key things that we're looking at in the place of work is work is going remote right now, and that's virtual. So what that means is anyone and everyone who has to stay in the workplace, whether corporate or in the business, needs to start taking his or her business. If you haven't done that, build an online presence. When we talk about an online presence, we're literally talking about create your own space, your own address, your own home, where people could see, could find you and do business with you. There is no longer time to be local. You have to go online. And by doing online means you opening yourself up for global relevance. So the only way you can be globally relevant, globally competitive, is by positioning yourself where you could be seen. And that's where the global world online comes to bear. So if anyone, any entrepreneur listening to this, want to scale, go to the next level, you should be thinking about virtual. And probably the last thing would be continuously improve yourself. Continuously improve yourself. Don't say you know it 2020. Of course, with COVID, you can see that COVID has just helped us say, get rid of all you know, start learning new things. So if you want to succeed in the workplace going forward, you need to learn those skill sets like basic computer, internet skill set. You need it to be globally relevant. That's all I think I will have to suggest here at this point.
Thank you so much, Oscar, for speaking with us today. It was a great conversation, and I wish you and your business the absolute best.
Thank you so much for the opportunity to have me here. I truly appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Of course.